and you move to the next stage of analytics, which is called as diagnostic analytics. So now you're trying to diagnose, you've received a report, and now you're trying to understand why certain things are happening. Just like when you go for your test, right? You do an annual health checkup. When you give your blood samples and your urine samples, you're giving them data, give you back the report once the diagnosis is over. So that is that the report that you get is what is descriptive analytics. So once you have received the report, what is the next step that you do in the case of a health checkup? When you do the health checkup, undergone an annual health checkup, and you've got your report from the diagnostic lab. So what will be your next step, immediate next step? Okay, discuss with the doctor. That is the most consulting a doctor. Okay. So that is the most logical next step, right? So what the doctor will be doing now, doctor will be going through that report. They will be diagnosing what has happened with you or what has happened in your reports. Okay. So that is the next step, which is diagnostic analysis. And that is exactly what we do when we are doing any finance analysis. So now let's try to understand. You receive this report from the doctor. From the report, you identify the April sales is the lowest, and your CFO wants to understand that why is the April sales so low? Question that the company is asking you to solve, or your CFO is asking you to identify. Then you move to the next step, which is your diagnostic analytics. And here you are trying to understand why did this happen, or what is the reason, or what is the insight that you can bring out from this analysis that you're doing in the next step. Again, on the value, it is slightly higher than the descriptive analytics. In terms of difficulty, it is slightly more complex than the descriptive analytics. You're now moving from descriptive analytics to diagnostic analysis. And when you do that, you will then dig down further. Okay, you will drill down further, and you will analyze the sales that has gone down in April, and you will come up with certain drivers, or you can say certain reasons why the sales is happening lower in April. So you will say you have identified that the sales is dependent on three key factors, or in this case, three key drivers. And one of that driver is your conversion rates. Okay. So what is conversion rates? Conversion rate is basically people, when they come on your website, how many percentage of those people buy your product, people landing on your website, and how many percentage of those people go and make the purchase or swipe the credit card. Okay, so that is one of the factors that drives the sales. Okay, so let's understand what are the other factors. Okay, so average order value is another factor or another driver. So on an average, how much value a customer purchases, or how much value a customer adds to the carts and buys from you, that is another driver. Okay, so in this example, we can see that the conversion rate is somewhere between 4%. So this is 4%, 6%. So it's somewhere between 4 to 6%, and it's maybe 4 point some percentage in January, and the highest is in somewhere in June, where it goes above 5%, and still it is lower than, okay, so not the highest point, but it is above 5%. And the highest point is close to 6%, which is again in November and December. This is what you can make out of the conversion rates. Okay. And the average order value is between $130 to $160, again between January to December. So these are the two factors. The last factor is your traffic, or your website visitors. So on the left, you can see there are number of visitors from 5,000 to 40,000. And on the right, you can see the January to December. So you notice in January, we had 25,000 visitors, and it fluctuates and it goes up and down. And in November and December, we have had the maximum number of visitors on our website. And now you try to diagnose this problem, which is your low sales in April, and you try to figure out the April month for all of these three drivers. Now you notice that the conversion rate has not dipped in April. Okay, so conversion rate is not a problem in April. Second, you go to the average order value. Again, you notice the average order value, although it is low, but that has been the case in January, February as well. For the first quarter, the average order value has been $130 for the past 2 months also. So that cannot be pointed as a reason for the April dip, because you can see the jump in February. Okay, there also the average order value was fairly stable. Based on these diagnoses that you've done, you've identified the root cause of why the sales is low in April, and you can clearly correlate it with your website traffic. So you identified that your April website visitors were low, although your average order value was okay, your conversion rate was okay. If we had more visitors on our website in April, probably this problem would not have happened. Okay, everyone with me till now? Type yes in the chat box if you understood this. Okay, so now you've identified, right? You've done some diagnostic. The same thing the doctor will do, look at your reports and identify different factors and tell you, okay, Asif, your vitamin D is not very good, or you need to take some supplements for vitamin D. Your cardiovascular health is not good. You need to do some exercise. You need to change your diet. Okay, so that is what the doctor will also tell you. Same way you are telling your company or your CFO, our conversion rates have been good. Our average water value was very stable, but the problem is in the number of visitors or the traffic. This is where we need to focus on. Okay. Your key takeaway is our sales dropped in April due to lower marketing efforts and a drop in website traffic. So you figure out the reasons why the website traffic has gone down, and you notice that in April month, you did not put a lot of money and effort in marketing. That's why the April sales or the April sales and the April website visitors were down. Okay, so now you come to the end of the diagnostic analytics. You found out the reason why this is happening. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this stage, which is diagnostic analytics.